You're listening to a Soul One podcast.
I hope you have a lot to say about your movie, Taylor. This might be the shortest episode we've ever done.
Yikes!
I can summarize my movie in one sentence. Shall I do it? No. I'll be a little more nuanced than that. It wasn't funny, and it was definitely a comedy. There you go.
Okay, so before we started recording, Mike, you said I saw the name in the Google Doc, or you said it out loud, and I said, I've never heard of that movie. Now that you said that it's a comedy, I'm gonna guess. I don't know the name of the actor. He has a really recognizable face. I think he's in that show Last Man Standing. Last Man of the...
No, that's Tim Allen.
No, what's the TV show you like? The sitcom. It's kind of the end of the world. There's one guy left.
You're not describing a show I think I've ever watched.
Okay, anyways, I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong. It's not the same actor. But
End of the world and there's one guy left?
And it's a comedy.
It's a comedy TV show.
Yeah.
And I like it.
End of the world, one guy left. Sitcom. Last Man on Earth.
I've never heard of that.
That's not a show you watch?
No.
With Will Forte?
No. The Last Man on Earth?
I've never Will Forte
that.
in the movie.
It's not Will Forte, right? No. And no, I've never heard of this.
I could have sworn this is one of your shows.
Really? No, I've never heard of this show. I'm looking it up too as you were mentioning it. And yeah, it looks really funny. But no, I haven't. Yeah.
Post-apocalyptic comedy.
Yeah.
Like right up your
Absolutely.
Right up your alley. And Will Forte is really funny.
Yeah. Will Forte is really funny.
I've never seen this show, but it seems like a Mike show.
Yeah, I definitely would do that. Now, Will Forte is in the movie that I watched, but he's not the main character. Like he's like a side character. He's not.
That was a complete guess, Mike.
Yeah.
Wow, the world really is a small place. Anyways, okay, let me continue. If I'm guessing the right movie. Sidebar, but The Last Man on Earth. I haven't seen it, but I think you'd like it based on what I know about the show. Let me know, report back. It's probably going to be better than the movie you watched, even if it's not a very good show. So the wife of this movie gets her opportunity to like do her dream job, and so the husband decides to stay at home.
That's right. That's exactly the movie I watched. So I got really sick over the weekend, and on Thursday I was feeling, not great. And Friday I felt a little bit better, but I'm like, okay, this is
show run.
Well, yeah, like I think I got it a little early. My immune system's kind of weak. Yeah, exactly. And I think, but then on Saturday I got worse. So I spent 2 days basically at home in bed, and this was one of the things that I decided to watch because I had seen a preview for it in one of my many movie-going experiences. But I specifically...
Like in the theater?
Yeah, it was like a trailer. Okay. But I specifically remember thinking like, I didn't really laugh once, and this is definitely supposed to be a comedy. And I decided to just watch it because I was getting bored and I needed to throw something on. And I was right. It's not... The problem with certain comedies, because it's Nate Bargatze who's the lead. And he's a comedian who I do like. He's got some interesting shticks. He's kind of a deadpan. I don't know why
I thought Will Forte. Kind of a similar look.
Got a similar look. But Nate Bargatze, he's kind of got his big thing is he's sort of a deadpan comedian.
Right.
And he's very much acting in this movie. And it's not that he did a bad job or anything. This really has nothing to do with him. The writing of this particular movie, which was co-written by him, was just, it felt like it was trying to make some kind of a point about gender roles and about men and that kind of thing, but didn't bother to make the point or forgot to make the point.
Or make any jokes about it.
Or make any jokes about it. Yeah, it was just kind of boring. Nothing really happened. It was, a single father dealing with 3 children. That would be tough, whether you're a father, mother, like, it doesn't matter. That would be tough. You're outnumbered. especially some of them are sort of the teenage years. So you got like preteens and you got teens. So you got a lot of issues there. Okay, fine. Like that's an interesting sitcom premise, or it's an interesting comedy present. But nothing happened. It was just boring. It wasn't funny. It wasn't really interesting. It didn't really give a new take on it at all. It didn't really give a take at all. It was just like, yeah, this is the situation, and here we go. It has nothing to do about like gender roles or parenting roles or like anything. It just didn't do anything.
It wasn't even like Daddy Daycare,
No.
where like the comedy comes from the fact that they're inept.
That's right. It wasn't even Daddy Daycare. It wasn't even like trying to like, oh, this is going to be like anti-woke or this is going to be woke. It was just nothing.
Wasn't zany.
Yeah, this movie just sucked. Like it was just terrible. Nothing happened.
It's the mom, Mandy Moore.
Mandy Moore. Mandy Moore. Yeah,
she's a good actress. But it sounds like she's not the main.
No,
she goes off to work. And
she goes off to work. It's really Nate Bargatze and his children. Now there are a couple funny cameos. Kumail Nanjiani's in it. A couple people from Saturday Night Live are in it. Will Forte does have a small part in it. So it's not like they're not. Other people aren't around, and there's some little bits that they do. But I didn't laugh once. Like my laugh count was 0. Like, and I'm not even saying that it being overdramatic. I didn't laugh once. Yes, I was sick, but still, you think this would cheer. Comedy could cheer you up, make you.
That was better. Kind of my experience. Although I had a little bit of a, from what I can tell, a better experience. A couple of weeks ago, well, several weeks ago now, I reviewed Driver's Ed. Do you remember that?
Driver's Ed.
Where, like, the kids steal the car from their driver's ed to, like, get back his girlfriend. I definitely reviewed that, right? I watched this movie. I hope I reviewed it on the show. But
that doesn't... It's interesting.
I know.
It doesn't sound familiar. But
it's a nondescript name, and, like, the poster for the movie, if you look it up, literally looks like a ripoff of American Pie, or like any comedy that came out between like 2001 and 2011. So like very nondescript poster, nondescript name. But I found the movie pleasant enough. But like you're explaining, Mike, it's a comedy. It's supposed to be a coming of age movie.
Yep.
And I don't think I laughed once, or if I did, maybe like one chuckle.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Very low laugh count for what a comedy is supposed to be funny at the end of the day. And I understand that some of those things can be personal. Like maybe there are people out there who would find this movie funny, but there weren't really any jokes or gags or moments. It just kind of, the movie just sort of happened. And I just felt like it just didn't do anything. Like it forgot to make a point. I don't know what this was trying to say, and I just don't think it got across. Especially for this comedian to say, "Oh, I've done a lot of TV. He's hosted SNL a million times. He's got his own specials. This is going to be my debut writing and starring in a film." He did not direct it. Somebody else directed it. I just found it to be so plain.
I haven't seen his stand-up. Is his stand-up funny?
Yeah, he's dry humor. I think for me, most people probably would know him as the kind of, he does the George Washington bit on SNL, which has been probably the best bit they've done in the past 10 to 15 years, where he basically is a deadpan George Washington and is explaining all the things he wants for America, but it's all the like dumb things, like what, like they measure things differently, and they'll have different names for animals when they're alive versus dead. Like a cow is beef, right? And like they do this like little bit, and it's really funny, and it is kind of interesting. And his stand-up's very similar. It's a lot of like, I'm noticing common things that people do, and that's why it's funny. That just didn't really translate in this movie. Like he just lived a normal life, and it wasn't even that situational comedy or like pointing things out kind of humor. I would say he has similar humor to someone like Jerry Seinfeld, right? He just points out things that are happening in life. But the Seinfeld show was a comedy. This just was a series of events that happened one after another. And it kind of felt like I was seeing into someone's life for a few minutes. And people's lives aren't that interesting. So I was kind of just, okay, this isn't really doing it for me. Nothing's happening.
I'm not an SNL girly and never have been. I was more of a Mad TV person growing up because I like the zane factor. So what you're describing really doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't go for. Yeah, I mean, I even think if people are a fan of his comedy, I don't think his comedy comes through that well in this movie. So I don't even know if that's going to attract a crowd. Like, I don't think that's going to hit his particular fans. I don't know if they'll get much out of this either. It's weird. It's one of these movies where, Taylor, I honestly don't have anything else to say. It just wasn't funny. Like, I don't know.
Skip it.
Yeah,
skip it.
It is a true skip it. Yeah, absolutely.
Unmemorable. It doesn't sound like the acting was bad. It was just bad direction.
That's
bad
right.
Script.
It's not as though the acting was bad. It's not as though there's something I wouldn't even say, the directing or the script was bad, as if more so I'd say it was just plain. Everything felt bland, very routine, very much like you're just not getting any variety or not really interesting things happening. And if you leave a movie wondering, wait, why did they make this? Like, it wasn't funny, and there wasn't really a point they were trying to make. So what was the point of this? I don't know. It just
I'm going to say something brave or controversial.
Okay.
People are just like kind of afraid to make good comedy now.
Maybe that could
I feel
be
like
it.
People are playing it really safe with comedy.
It's possible that's what this is. They just felt they had to play it safe for whatever reason.
And I don't even mean that in the political sense, Mike, because I know people are going to be like, "Oh, she says everything's too woke." It's not that. It's like teen comedies used to be like stupid.
Yeah.
But it was funny that they were stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, and just like your movie, the humor should come from like the stupid antics the family gets into.
It kind of reminded me of a very bland version of Daddy's Home, which I do think is a funny movie, and Daddy's Home 2 is also very funny. That's the Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg comedy. And weirdly enough, Mel Gibson's in the second one for some reason. But that
isn't he one of the dads?
Yeah, it's one of the dads. Yeah, because they're the parents in the first movie, and then you meet, which is John Leguizamo. No, not John Leguizamo. John Lithgow is Will Ferrell's dad. Mark Wahlberg's dad is whoever I just said the name. Mel Gibson. Yeah, I don't know what just happened there. Name just left my head. And that movie had a very similar tone to this, but was funny. Right? Like, if they hit the humor, they had several bits that worked. They pushed the envelope. But even there's this big scene in Daddy's Home 2 where Mark Wahlberg's daughter touches the thermostat, and he doesn't do anything about it. And all three other dads flip out about it. And it was hilarious. It's commenting on, like, kind of a cliche about dads and the thermostat. And it was, like, really funny. And they did it in a funny way. And even though it was kind of like maybe a bit of an older reference, they made it work and they made it funny. This movie didn't even have that. I can't even point out a bit they did.
Even... It's like our movies are out of like cultural touchstones. You know what I mean? Like, movies can't even like make references or like
I do think I agree with you about that. I do think that whether it be producers or studios or filmmakers, I don't know who, maybe it's a combination of them. I don't think people have the pulse on what people like anymore. And I think that I just noticed that when people get things wrong, that people like. And again, this is coming off of Spider-Man was a great movie. Odyssey was a great movie. Both did well at the box office, both, getting a lot of praise. I liked them both. They were really great. And this just felt like it was made from another time and kind of in film, but not funny and kind of in film school and kind of uncertain as to what we want to do. We just want to make a movie. So we're just going to make a movie to get the experience. That's kind of what it felt like. Yeah.
I think this is a hole in the market for middle budget or low budget comedies. Because honestly, Mike, like, aside from watching like a B Netflix or Amazon movie, I feel like it's quite rare to have like a mid-size comedy in theaters right now. And when they do make comedies, they're just not very good.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
that and rom-coms. Although allegedly we're having a rom-com renaissance.
The rom-coms I've seen in the past couple of years have been better. Yeah. I can attest to that, yes.
But now I'd like to see sort of the complement to that genre of just like the standard.
I agree.
Mid-sized comedy.
And I think that I think that that's something that as much as there was a lot of stars in it, I would argue that first Anchorman movie was still a relatively low budget first one. The second one was
hilarious.
Much bigger, but it was hilarious. And I don't think we've had one of those in a while. But I think there's a market for it. I think there's room for just laugh out loud.
This generation's Judd Apatow.
Yeah, I think we don't have that yet. So we'll see.
Think Adam Sandler's production company, whatever partnership he has with Netflix, the last several Adam Sandler vaguely connected movies I've watched, because they have been Happy Madison, but he hasn't necessarily been in the movies or written or directed. I will say that is the closest I've gotten to kind of that early to mid 2000s peak of comedy, Judd Apatow style. Are they as funny as the original Billy Madison and all that in the 90s, or Anchorman or whatever? I wouldn't say they've hit quite that level, but they're pretty serviceable comedies. Yeah. And if I'm looking to scratch that itch, I'll watch it. All of the characters are quite delightful and the storylines are cute or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, I have a real appetite for that. Really, no other way to describe it. Just kind of that like mid-level budget, reliable comedic actors that just are like the other guys. That movie is hilarious.
Yeah, that's been brought up a few times as kind of hitting that. 21 Jump Street. Yeah, that those movies for sure, I think, hit that kind of market that we're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we haven't had one in a while. We're due for one. This is definitely not it. That
everyone quotes.
Yeah.
Because everyone knows the quotes to those movies.
Yeah.
Have we just moved on? Maybe we're just dating ourselves, Mike, because everything's on TikTok now. I also read these headlines that apparently the younger generation of Hollywood don't even watch movies. I don't know if that's just clickbait or like
yeah, I don't know if that's true.
Apparently Millie Bobby Brown's like, I don't watch movies. And it's like, and then people are like, well, that's why you can't act. But anyways, I will. The jury's out on whether or not she's a good actress. But are we just like, and this is maybe a philosophical discussion and we can table it, but are we post-culture in the sense that, you said that studios or producers or whatever don't know what's in or what the references are? And is it just that we're so fragmented because of TikTok, there aren't shared references? Because when we were going to school in high school, we weren't as online. We were online, but like the way things went viral is everyone watched the same movie and then everyone endlessly quoted that movie.
Yeah, I would say the argument against that is you've still got things like Wicked and even Barbie that did
Oppenheimer.
Yeah, Oppenheimer, that did bring in a lot of people in, and people aren't quoting Oppenheimer, but they're talking about sequences a lot, and that still gets brought up. And I do think Barbie gets quoted. And I think everything. I think
enough.
Yeah, and I do think these things get turned into memes and TikTok, and that's how they
it's like
spread.
Meme culture now.
But I would say even this year, the movie Obsession, it was a huge hit and really was big online. And same with Backrooms. Like there was a lot of stuff that came out of those movies.
Okay, I agree with you then. So it's just that we haven't had a sort of massive cultural comedy.
Not a comedy, yeah. And I don't think, like, Barbie's maybe the closest, but I still think that movie was too retrospective and trying to make a point to be a true type of silly comedy. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's. I don't think it was a silly comedy. It was a comedy, but it had a lot of things it was trying to say.
A message.
Yeah, and I think what we're talking about
I don't want a movie with a message.
Anchorman has no message. Like that movie, 21 Jump Street has no message, right? Like that's...
And like be good to your friends, essentially.
I guess,
that is as far as the message I want.
Yeah.
That's the message of Superbad, right?
Yeah, Superbad, yeah.
The other guys... the friend, the buddy. I guess what we're describing is kind of like a buddy comedy.
Yeah, I think that's something you don't see
We're
as
missing.
much. Yeah,
we're not. We need to get back to that. Okay, so it sounds like a complete skip it.
Skip it. Don't even think of it.
Completely
one of those movies
notable.
I will at the end of the year I won't remember that I saw it.
Yeah, you'll be like, what is this?
Wait, what?
Well, I watched, and if anyone listened to last week's, this is going to come as a surprise. I watched Masters of the Universe.
That is a massive surprise. If anyone knows you,
huge surprise.
That's like an 80s kind of cult movie. Really, a toy line that was like really like the toys are really what made it popular. It was a TV show as well. And
early enough, not of my repertoire.
Mm-hmm,
like this was not a movie we grew up watching. It wasn't even a movie. My mom is a huge film and like pop culture buff. It wasn't even one that we watched with my mom. So I think it was something that my older cousin would have grown up with, but again, didn't trickle into our household. So I watched the trailer for this. I'm pretty sure like you probably did, Mike. It was a theater movie, or sorry, a movie theater movie release. I want to say like this summer. It was a summer movie.
Yeah, it was just. Oh yeah, it was a summer movie. Yeah.
And I completely wrote it off. I saw the trailer. I'm like, I have no emotional connection to this IP. I have no reference. This looks pretty cheesy and essentially a cash grab. Like, I'm not interested. And then I was speaking to someone who is of that generation, and he was like, this movie 100% is just a nostalgia plug. It looks horrible, like just money grab. And I'm like, yeah, I agree with you. So I went away on holiday. I come back, and people can probably guess from this story who I was talking to. But anyways, I didn't get permission to share their point of view. But anyways, and he comes back and he says, you know what movie I saw? And I said, what movie did you see? He said, Masters of the Universe. And I said, you told me that movie was going to be horrible. And he went, I know. But I saw it with my family. I think they streamed it. And he went, it's actually really good.
I like how you started this story trying to be as nondescript as possible who you were talking to. Wouldn't even
it's totally
put
obvious.
A pronoun, and then you put a pronoun in, and then the way you're like talking to that pronoun is so clear who this is. Like I never want the secrets of the universe to be in your hands, Taylor, because I think we'd all be in a lot of trouble.
100%. This person may or may not be able to tell their side of the story in a couple weeks. But anyways.
I'm going to guess. Let me just take a guess. Yes, this person will tell this side of the story in a few weeks, everyone. You can catch him right here.
Catch their side of the story. So he's like, go. He essentially said, go in with no expectations, right? Like, it's going to be a corny movie, but, it was a lot of fun. His whole family enjoyed it. So I thought, you know what? There isn't a ton on streaming. I'm not making it out to the theater. And even, Mike, there isn't a ton in the theaters right now, too. So it wasn't like I had a world of options.
Mm-hmm.
This movie, Mike, I don't know why this movie is not bigger. This movie was so enjoyable and so fun and breezy and corny in all the right places and corny, doesn't take itself seriously, knows it's stupid source material, leans into it. The whole cast seems to be having a great time.
That's the only thing I did hear about this movie, was that the cast is just giving it their all.
Oh, yeah.
And I know like Alison Brie's in it, and people have talked about her.
So I can give a little bit of a rundown. I don't know the IP. I've seen like memes of Skeletor, but I've never watched the TV show. So this might mean more to other people. Camila Mendes plays Tila. People will know her from Riverdale.
Okay.
Nicholas, and I'm going to butcher his last name, Nicholas Galitzine. Galatine. Plays He-Man. He's the lead character. He played the journalist in The Sheep Detectives.
Oh, that's where I recognize him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now, this is a little bit of controversy now. It probably wasn't controversial at the time of casting. Maybe it was because people are very divided about this actor, but literally within the last couple weeks has had serious accusations made against him. Jared Leto, I would say, is the voice of Skeletor rather
CGI,
than
isn't
played
it?
him.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like it's a real body, but the face is a skull. And it's not like, it doesn't look like a mask, if that makes sense. Like, it looks like a 100% the skull is talking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and let's remind everybody that I hated Jared Leto before it became cool. Just gonna
I think a lot of people, but you can't, it's not like there's a bandwagon. I feel like 80% of the population is hated.
Oh, really? I thought it was the only one.
I feel like ever since he did all that stuff around the Joker, or when he was in Suicide Squad,
I mean,
I feel like his
reputation
was really tarnished.
Yeah,
and then he did a really weird, he did a really silly accent in that Gucci movie with Lady Gaga, and so I think people got on the hate train again. But he now is being accused of pretty serious sexual assault and grooming of several women, and possibly underage women, but do not look to me for the facts. All I know is that there's some serious allegations being made about him. But interestingly, Mike, for those who are chronically online, they may already know that probably for a decade, maybe even longer, he's been allegedly accused of allegedly running a cult based on his band on an island.
Okay, so there's a lot of information you just gave. One, that he has a band. I did not know.
You didn't know he's in 30 Seconds to Mars.
I don't know what band. I don't know what 30 Seconds to Mars is.
Huge. He's probably a bigger for in alt rock circles. He's probably more famous for his band than his acting.
I'm not really a music person, though. I don't really listen to music, so it's not surprising that I haven't heard of it. But interesting, the cult thing. That's interesting. But yeah, I mean, I think I've always thought Jared Leto was a creep. So some of this, is just that.
He just seems. So I will say, these are all these are controversies that have been swirling. The things about the cult, the things about...
But that stuff's recent, though, right?
The cult stuff is not recent.
Okay.
And I want to just claim that these are sort of gossipy, controversy.
Right. You don't know where everything comes from. Yeah. You're not saying these things as fact. This is just what you've read. Yeah.
Yeah, that's been online for many years. People are like, because now that stuff is coming back out, because people are like, well... because of these other rumors about him, I'm not surprised. But in the last 2 weeks, depending on when this airs, it might be later now, Mike. Maybe in the last 4 weeks, the last month or so, he has been accused of sexual misconduct. And it seems like, So I wonder, but this movie was put on streaming before all that controversy. But now I'm like, dang it, Jared Leto, you've really ruined the chance for this movie to have a second life on streaming.
Right.
So that's the interesting thing about him is he's doing sort of a British or a hoity-toity accent, I guess you could say. Not quite British, but kind of an upper crust, and it's very stylized. And from what I know about the memes on the TV show, I think it's probably similar characterization of the original, but I'm not sure. So I don't know if he played the body, if that makes sense. I don't know if that was a stunt double or what, or if it was all CGI. I'm not sure. So when I was, looking at this cast, it's because of the voice he's essentially doing. I'm thinking, well, anyone kind of could have played this role. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's almost like stunt casting that it's Jared Leto as Skeletor. Like, that's not his normal speaking voice. Why not just hire a British actor? And then, you know, you have the buff body. Anyways, it really made me think critically about what we consider good acting. And, you know, was he, because there's no face acting going on, it's all voice and then the body, but I'm not 100% sure of who the body was, if it was his body or not. So I'm like, okay, could you have just swapped Jared out with someone else?
Right.
I will say that it was a good performance. Like, I wouldn't have known it was Jared Leto.
Right.
I was watching on Amazon and it popped, you know, on Amazon it shows you who the actors are in that specific scene. I'm like, oh, Jared Leto. So that really made me think critically. Same with when Red Skull in the original Captain America movie. Who plays Red Skull?
Because
that's the person doing a voice and
and he, but it is his body.
And then they like CGI.
They CGI the face. Yeah, like they did stuff to the face.
And like
Hugo Weaving. Face. It's Hugo Weaving.
Okay, so that's I've never thought that critically about. Same with voice acting, right? You never see voice actors nominated for Oscars.
No, as
far as I know,
it really doesn't happen often.
It's the whole package. It's the physicality and the face and the voice. And anyway, so that was interesting. So let me keep rattling down. Alison Brie played Evelyn, and she just like went for it. Like, talk about like high camp. Her and Jared Leto, their characters, Skeletor and Evelyn, high camp.
Right.
But like chef's kiss. I loved it. I wouldn't have had it any other way. Morcina Baccarin played the sorceress.
Oh, yeah.
Kristen Wiig is the voice of the robot.
Okay.
Idris Elba is the man-at-arms. And then there's a handful of other characters, but that's kind of the main cast. And everyone just seems to be having a good time. It's one of the rare movies where I'm like, I wonder why I'm not seeing more about this movie. Was it not critically well received? And so it seems like it is considered a flop. It had a really, really big budget. It didn't make back the money. And it has sort of mixed reviews. A lot of people found it formulaic, predictable. And I'm like, what are you looking for, people? This is a movie based on a toy. Like, I don't know, like, I wasn't looking for like a groundbreaking script. This movie knew what it was and did what it was supposed to do. That's how I feel watching this movie. It is a cheesy, corny popcorn flick for the whole family.
Right.
And like, it did that. It delivered that. And it'll be interesting to know if maybe in later years this movie has a bit of a renaissance or is considered a little bit of a cult classic. I don't know. It's maybe too early to tell. But I found the movie very charming. I found it, I wouldn't say it was like a barrel of laughs, but, you know, I chuckled. Like, I found it well written, very well acted. My biggest problem was with the CGI, which, you know, longtime listeners of the show will be not surprised whatsoever. I hate CGI.
Yeah.
And I hate bad CGI even more.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say this was bad CGI, but because this is like a sci-fi adventure movie, there's a lot of action and a lot of quick editing. And I don't know if it was the color grading, the character design, the contrast. I felt like there was a lot of details from the movie that I couldn't make out, if that makes sense. It felt really muddled almost. Like, it's a very busy world that they're in. I forget the name of the universe or the planet, but sometimes there's leaves, there's a castle, old buildings. And so they're making a very lush and very, the world is not like your standard world. It's a fantasy environment. And so I wanted to be able to see more of it.
Right.
And I felt like if it had been real sets, and they relied less on CGI, then maybe I could have appreciated that more, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the action sequences, I thought we could have slowed it down a little bit more and see some of the character design and things like that. So that's my major critique, is that it's not the most beautiful movie. Maybe you know, when people go into for a sci-fi fantasy, maybe they're not. Well, I don't know. I think world building is a big part of it, Mike. And you should take some time to design.
I would argue world building is crucial to this kind of thing, because you're trying, you know, whether or not you're trying to build other movies, you know, who knows? But you are trying to get us as sci-fi fans to fall in love with the world. Like, that's what you want. That's what you remember. Yeah. And that's what you talk about, is the nuances of the world and the intricacies, and the small little details are what I think make some of the best sci-fi movies stick out. So I think it's important. And I think that's if they missed that, doing that, well, they missed something then.
And that just might be me nitpicking, just, I didn't like the color grading or whatever, you know. I say that out of respect for this movie. I thought it was a lot of fun, but if I had to fix one thing, it would be that.
Right.
I do think because this is based on 80s IP and they are trying to lean into that nostalgia factor, it would have been nice to see practical effects and real sets and maybe try to make the movie look more 80s. It does take place now. It's not set in the 80s. It's set in 2026 or 2025. Mm-hmm. So I'm not expecting that to be retro, but in terms of how they made the movie, I think it would have just brought that up a little bit more. But I know practical effects are so expensive, Taylor, and so
there's always an excuse.
It's always the money. It's interesting that you mentioned them setting it up for future movies. 100%. This was filmed, and the ending and the post-credit scene, blah, 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 they were setting up for a franchise.
Right.
And to be quite frank, I would watch a sequel. That's what part of the reason why I looked up the reviews.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the characters. I thought they had really good chemistry. It's an interesting world. And I should mention, as someone who has absolutely no attachment to the IP, you can go into this movie completely blind, Mike. It's not like you had to have played with Masters of the Universe toys growing up.
Right. They do a good enough job of telling you kind of what's going on.
The story is completely contained. Yeah. I will say this movie is 2 hours and 20 minutes. And the first 20 minutes is what they call that exposition, mm-hmm. like explaining, you know, we're getting all the back details to lead up to the main part of the movie. This seems to be kind of a problem with this type of movies, these like epics, where they do need to do some explaining, right? Like they are trying to catch us up. I think they did a pretty good job in this movie, but with a 2 hour and 20 minute runtime, I think they could have tightened it up in other places.
Right, yeah.
To bring it down to maybe 2 hours. It's a popcorn flick. It doesn't need to be almost 2.5. Let's be serious here. Anyway, so back to my other point. Because this movie performed so poorly, I would be really surprised if Amazon invests in a sequel, which is too bad. It's sort of Man from U.N.C.L.E. syndrome, where I would love to see a sequel, and I think it would be a lot of fun. I've seen this movie compared to Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know. I understand the comparison. I think this is a little bit different. But the other thing, I guess one of the big similarities is that they both have very good soundtracks. This movie has a very good soundtrack. Brian May, oh my goodness. He's from Queen. Yeah, Brian May's from Queen. He was the guitarist for this movie. I don't know if he wrote the score, but he played the guitar for it. It's sort of hair metal music, what you would expect from the 80s. Really great soundtrack. So to me, this was a real shame, kind of a movie that went under the radar. I don't know about you. I didn't see a lot of promotion for this movie outside of the trailers I saw in the theaters.
That was about it, yeah.
Yeah. Nothing on social media. I didn't see posters of it anywhere. I also appreciate that they market movies way different than how they did 10 years ago. And they could very well have marketed this movie and it just didn't land where I am in terms of the internet. But just a bit of a bummer. I did see one headline that the CEO or someone connected to Amazon is really hoping that it gets a second life on the streaming platform. It has only been on streaming for a couple weeks, so who's to say? I don't know. Mike, we talk about this all the time, and I'm sure there's an article we can read to understand it, but I don't know how that works, how they get money. So it's an Amazon with another studio, because you know how Amazon combined, was it MGM?
Yeah, I think it was
one of the big ones.
Yeah, one of the big ones,
studios.
MGM, or one of the big studios they combined. Yeah.
So Netflix, Amazon makes these movies. It flops and they can't make the money in the movie theaters, and so which traditionally would be like ticket sales.
Yeah.
And so, but I've only paid Amazon. I only pay Amazon once a year. So how is Amazon making money from Masters of the Universe of me watching it on the platform? It's not, I didn't rent it. It was part of my subscription. Are they banking on people making new accounts to watch it?
Yes.
How's it going to make money back?
Yeah, I mean, that's the issue with streaming, right? Like they're banking on people creating new accounts and joining their service to watch a particular film. Yeah, that's what they're banking on.
Okay, well, I don't know. I shouldn't say I've never. I have done that. Like I've gotten a free trial for Apple, for instance, to watch a movie. So I guess they're banking on that. Like, oh, I want to see Masters of the Universe. I'll do the 10-day trial, and then the person forgets and their trial renews.
Right.
I don't know. It just seems like a really weird. There must be some method to the madness, Mike, that we just aren't aware of.
Yeah, there's some sort of financial thing there that we just don't know about.
I don't know about, because I just cannot understand. Yeah, I can understand if I had to rent the movie through Amazon, they would make money.
Yeah, but just
put it up as part of my subscription.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyways, it's a shame because I really liked it. To me, this is a see it, Mike. I think it's, like I said, it knows exactly what it is. It stays in its lane, and it's very enjoyable. Is it the most beautiful movie in the world? No, but I think by today's standards, it looks pretty much the same. I think most movies don't look good right now, whether it's the CGI or the color grading or whatever they're deciding to do in post-production. But this isn't the worst looking movie I've ever seen. So, Masters of the Universe, it's a see it, and a little bit of a me, humbly coming to the fans and saying, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Last week. Yeah. Last week I was like, what am I going to watch? Masters of the Universe? Well, I have watched it and it was good. And so here I am to correct my wrongs, to tell the audience I was wrong. Okay? And it was good. And I might have said a million other crazy things this episode that I'll have to apologize for next week. But today I'm apologizing for saying Masters of the Universe.
You were fine this episode.
Write in and let me know.
Yeah. Oh,
speaking of.
Yes. Speaking of writing in, yes. We're going to have our mailbag episode coming up very soon. So this is kind of a final call out. Get those fan questions, fan comments, thoughts on movies you've seen. Get them into us. And if for some reason you missed the deadline, don't worry. We will do another one soon. So send them in anyway. soul1arts.ca. Just go to the podcast tab, fill out the form. Nice and simple. People seem to like the form. So send those in. And we'll be doing that soon, which is a lot of fun. So hopefully we get lots of fun questions.
In the meantime, go see some movies.
Thank you for listening to You Had Me at Skip It, a Soul One Arts Inc. podcast. This podcast is produced by Mike Shepard and Austin Spinner Summer. It is a project of Soul One Arts Inc. To learn more about Soul One and all the great work that Soul One is doing in the arts community, especially in film, theater, and other performing arts, visit soul1arts.ca. You can contribute to this podcast by visiting soul1arts.ca and going to the podcast tab. You'll find all the information on You Have Me at Skip It and how you can get your questions read on air each week. Thank you again for listening.